the Oladance Open Wearable Stereo Pro or Shokz's OpenFit. We think you're choosing between simple and smart. Hola, we're DHRME. Donkeys have ridiculously magnanimous ears.
In terms of design and build, there's only one major aspect where the Shokz OpenFit totally owns the Oladance, and that's the IP rating. IP54 on the Shokz OpenFit versus IPX4 on the Oladance. So if you like it rough, the Shokz may be a better choice here, but if you're not so bothered about dust, IPX4 and IP54 are basically the same for water and fluid resistance, so you can get wet.
Okay, here are a few similarities between both of these earbuds. Both have a large charging case, but between the two, the Shokz is going to shock you the least. It still passes the pocketability test. The Oladance is the size of my wallet, but this time the case of the Oladance can charge your buds as opposed to its predecessors. Let's talk battery life. Oladance claims 16 hours on the buds and 58 hours with the case. We tested this in our DHRME battery test and got 16.5 hours on the buds. So that checks out. Shokz with a smaller case and buds packs less of a punch. 7 hours on the buds and 28 with the case. And we got exactly 7 hours in our testing too. Thankfully, no shocks here. But we're talking about half of what the Oladance can do. And good news, if you don't want to lug around that massive charging case, you can turn off the Oladance Pro buds and turn them back on using a power button on each bud. You cannot do this on the OpenFit. You need to have the case with you at all times. Oh, and two last things about the charging case. One, there's no wireless charging on either, just good old Type-C charging. And two, we really like the colorblind friendly battery indicator on the Oladance, whereas the Shokz is a single colored LED.
On the topic of colors, you get to choose between 5 different colors on the Oladance versus just 2 on the Shokz OpenFit, and those 5 colors, they're funky as f.
When it comes to controlling either of these buds, they ain't exactly touching us the right way. The Oladance Pro has a pressure-sensitive touch button and a touch surface. The swipe for volume is fantastic, but that's where the pros of this Pro end. The press gesture is pretty hit or miss, and we also had a situation where the right button died even though the swiping continued to work. Putting it back in the case and taking it back out didn't work, and we had to reset that single bud by turning it off using the button on the bud and turning it back on. On the Shokz, controls are limited. You can't do play, pause, track control, voice assistant, and volume control all at once. You have to make choices and compromises. Basically, you're left with only double tap and tap and hold gestures on both ears. But on the Oladance app, you can customize what the different presses can do. Oh, and for both the Shokz and Oladance, the volume doesn't change until music is playing.
For controls customizability, we choose the Oladance, but for pure reliability, it'd have to be the Shokz.
But do the Oladance Open Wearable Stereo Pro go dancing ahead in terms of comfort and fit? Even though these might look bulky in the video, trust us, the comfort and fit is on point. Liquid silicone molding, ceramic coating, no clue what those terms mean since none of us are a material science guru, but we are comfortophiles and we can verify that these are super comfortable and very lightweight, also with glasses. But the Shokz OpenFit are the lightest of the open ear hook style buds we've ever tested. These are also comfortable with glasses. The Oladance weighs 27 grams, whereas the Shokz weighs 16 grams. And if we had to pick one for comfort, it would be the Shokz for the lighter weight and thinner ear hooks.
You know, extra features are a little bit of an afterthought when it comes to these kind of products because you know how much difference can they really make. But in this case, there's a lot to talk about. Remember, simple or smart?
On the Oladance, there's a lot of smarts. You get a focus mode, which is kind of an attempt at noise cancelling with open ear buds. The buds generate a sort of white anti-noise and it actually lowers background noise. Incredible for a pair of open ears to be able to do this. The only other buds we've come across claiming this were the Galaxy Buds Live from Samsung, but that ANC setting did absolutely nothing for us. Now the issue we had with the focus mode was that it wouldn't consistently stay on and would shut off randomly and turn back on. Feels like a software thing, but we're not entirely sure. We can definitely appreciate the innovation and novelty here. So here's hoping Oladance fixes this and other earbud manufacturers can build on what Oladance has started here.
Multipoint is on board with the Oladance and you can see all the paired devices in the app. Pretty cool. Going into pairing mode is also super simple with just having to hold down both the buttons, no case or weird buttons required.
And now your earbuds can have more friends than you with Buddy a Bud, a fairly useless feature that lets you pair other buds. I guess it's kind of useful if you lose one bud and find another one, But let's move on to more useful things. There's also a bunch of travel cases as well as a button that you can buy separately to control your music and calls on the go. There is, however, no wear sensor on board to detect if you're wearing the buds or not and automatically play or pause your music. In addition to this, there are smaller tweaks like changing the balance of the left and right channel and a hearing protection feature that limits max volume. Smart, right? And the Shokz OpenFit, well, shockingly lacking here. No wear sensor and no multi-point. And you have to put the buds in the case and hold down both buds to put them into pairing mode. Or as we said, simple. As we like to say, microphones need to have popsicles, icicles, and testing.
Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. That's testing.
In the noisy conditions, we see that the Shokz does the best by suppressing the car noises but still maintaining the clarity of the voice. The Oladance definitely struggles more. If you speak loudly, then it does okay, but when you speak softly, then the voice can get cut out. Oladance speaks a big game about wind noise reduction in a lot of their marketing, but in windy situations, we wouldn't really advise either of these buds. But if we had to pick, then we would go for the Oladance in case of a very quick phone call. But guys, in quiet conditions, both do great. So if these are going to be workout headphones only for you, then you'll be fine. But what about the controls de la fuck man? Both give you the basics for answer and hang up as well as volume control. Volume on the Shokz will only work if it's configured in the app for the tap and hold gesture. The Oladance claims mute control in the manual by long pressing either button, but that didn't work for us. As far as sound quality goes for open ear style buds, the Shokz OpenFit isn't terrible, but relatively speaking, the Oladance Pro takes the cake in this department from the OpenFit. It hands down has a far richer sound signature for music as well as podcasts. You get a much stronger bass response, which is more present than on the OpenFit. In terms of volume, it also gets louder. Volume is gonna be pretty important if you're trying to listen to something outdoors and have a lot of ambient noise. The Oladance app also offers a bunch of EQ presets as well as those extra features we talked about earlier.
And although Oladance seems to claim anti-noise leakage tech, you know what? In our tests, the Shokz actually did better than the Oladance, which means to say it leaked less noise. Here, have a listen.
The Shokz is outgunned for this form factor though. Sibilant treble is an issue, for example. But given the nature of these products, it certainly ain't bad. The app also has customization in it for EQ, and the bass is audible, which is more than we could say for the early generation of open earbuds.
So the money question, which one to buy? To start off with, both of these pricey. $180 for the OpenFit versus an additional $50 on the Oladance. Not to mention all those extra accessories that will end up costing you much more. Guys, we're not gonna lie, these bucks be big.
We've done a full breakdown of the Shokz OpenFit with 5 other buds here. So we're not gonna repeat everything, but between these two, the choice is clear, isn't it? The Shokz has the 4 P's going for it: price, portability, protection against dust, and the plight weight. Which, let's be honest, are very important reasons. But if you're already splurging around $180, in our view, the Oladance offers you a whole bunch of bells and whistles, but also performs better at core things like sound quality, battery life, and volume. If you can handle the bulk, Oladance is our pick. Guys, although we did receive a review sample from Shokz and Oladance, it's our strict policy not to accept any money from companies whose products we review. And we're relying on you guys, our supporters, and especially our YouTube members and patrons. Thank you so much once again, and keep supporting us.
You've been open to getting fit like a pro.
We've been DHRME. Namaste. And 2,
There's funky
goes as channel and hearing protect